So friendly. All right, guys, so here we go. This is exercise 3. The main goal here was to make sure that you knew that the prepositions in, on, with all take what case? The ablative case. All right, so you must put those in the correct gender, the correct declension. You must also put them in the correct number, making sure that you see things like number 1. Quinn, do it, even though you didn't do homework. What's the number of stream?
1.
Tell me.
Number.
You tell me the real title. If there's one thing, it's just a singular. Good. So we have singular stream. So whatever we put stream into needs to be singular. What'd you get, Tina, for your answer? Oh, sorry. What'd you get, Eli? What'd you get for your answer?
Rewo.
Rewo. Is that all you should put?
No.
You should put the preposition as well. So in rewo. In rewo. I would recommend, by the way, it's not to mark off or anything. It's to help yourself see the mistakes you made. Use a different colored pen when you're correcting your answers. So number 1 is in rewo. All right. Number 2, go for it, Callan. Cum filiis. That's so perfect. Excellent. Ablative plural is is. That's both for the first declension and the second declension. So you didn't really have to think about that one too much. Cum filiis. Not saying you didn't, Callan. I'm sure you thought great. Yeah, because the stem is filius, filii. So you got to keep the stem, whatever is left when you drop off the genitive. All right? So there you go. Filiis, ablative plural. The last ending you say is the ablative plural ending. All right? Next one, number 3, in the mind. Go for it, Thomas. In animo. Very good. Ablative singular. Animus, animi, animo, animum, animo. Us, e, o, o. Last one in the singular is the ablative, so animo. On the roads, Morgan.
Correct me, I'm probably gonna say this wrong.
That's okay.
In vi.
First thing is remember, V isn't v.
We.
We. All right. Tell me the number of roads. Is it singular or plural? Number. Good. So whatever the last ending is that you say is the ablative plural. Remember, ablative is the 5th one down. So what must the ending be? I, misos, is. There you go. So whatever the word is, which is we I, asking the same question about stem, because this is a weird stem as well. We I. How do you get the stem here, Morgan? If you got your first word, second word.
Second word,
take off the what? Ooh, scared me a little bit. Very good. You said you take that off. That is your stem. No matter how weird it looks, you got I next to each other. It's okay. Just trust the process. It's the same for every noun. All right, there you go. We is how you pronounce that. In we is. All right, with the friend. Eli, do the whole thing for this one. With the friend. Oh, not Eli. John. I was looking at John. I said Eli. Good. Cum amico. Excellently done. With the friend. Ablative singular amico. Good. Us, e, o, o. That's that. All right. In the water. You want to do this one, Quinn? Do the whole thing. In the water.
In.
Think aquarium.
Oh yeah, aqua. In aqua.
In aqua or in aqua?
Aqua.
Good. Yeah, with the macron over the A. Excellent. All right. Yeah, we'll do exercise 4. I told my first period class that I'm going to make a video of me doing all these exercises tonight. These exercises are how you're going to study for the test tonight. And also, if you guys haven't seen, I know Thomas saw it, but if you guys haven't seen, I put that thing up for you guys, the Unit 1, just vocab review, declension review. You can do that as much as you want, twice. You can do that twice.
I was too scared to do it because I thought.
No. Yeah, you can do it twice. The first time, I think I told you guys this, the first time I'm not going to tell you the answers. It's just going to tell you if you got something wrong. So you go back to your notes, see which ones you got wrong, see what, and be like, oh, okay, take it again. All right, stuff like that. Please do it. I'm telling you, I'm putting that up there because it's very, very helpful. All right. And then I'll also put these exercises up there. I'll make a video of me doing these on the board like I did for the last chapter. Okay? But exercise 5 right here, you guys are dealing with a English sentence. You guys are dealing with an English sentence. Yes?
Do we have to do all the exercises?
There's no have to. I'm just telling you, if you do, you will succeed on the test. All right? So here we go. this is a little run through. All right, I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I'm going to give you guys the ability to do the rest of this translation here, exercise 6 that you guys see down below. And I have a really good breakdown for you guys to follow there. So let me just make sure I'm not going weird. Okay, so right here. This is where I should start. All right. So this is the sentence that we're dealing with. All right. The sons ought not to live in the fields. So here we go. The sons ought not to live in the fields. All right, is that staying in the group? Okay. That's not extremely clear. All right. So here we go. First thing you guys should do with an English sentence is you should do what? To figure out what is what in the sentence. What should you do?
Decline.
Not decline. There's nothing to decline yet.
Label.
Label your sentence. Morgan, you want to do it? Go for it. Do one. Just choose one word that you know is what.
On.
Label means subject, noun, verb, direct object, preposition, all that kind of stuff. That's what label means.
Sons.
Sons, what is that?
Subject noun.
Very good, because
They're doing the verb.
they ought. They're the ones described for the doing. All right? Now, ought is your verb. What is not? What is not? What's a word? Not is one of these. What's a word that describes how you do a verb? Adverb. So not is always an adverb. There was a teacher at the old school I was at. She would always say, not is not a verb. It's an adverb. Just helping me remember it. All right, so here we go. Not is not a verb. It's an adverb. You can always label not an adverb. What about to live? That's a good guess, but it's not right. It is a verb. This is how, remember, this is how I tell you guys to translate verbs on your vocab quizzes.
Oh, conjugate.
Don't shout anything out. I want you to think about it. There's a version of a verb that you guys learn. I'll write this verb down for you. Habito, habitara. There's a version of the verb given to you in the principal parts called the what? Bless you.
That was just really shit.
Yeah, right, whatever, dude. I'm just kidding. I'm just
It
joking.
was,
I know it was, dude. It's just funny. All right. Habitara is called the what? The second principal part is always called the what? It has a nickname. The infinitive. The infinitives, yeah, it's okay. It's just one of those things that just flies out of your head. The infinitives always translate to X. To jump, to sail, to send, to live. The second principal part, Morgan and Callan, or Callan is what I meant to say. The second principal part, ending in R-E, like that. Habitara, amara, habera, debera. Doesn't matter. The second principal part always translates to do whatever verb. To love, to see, to sail. Do you guys remember that? So this is called, and you would label it as such, if you see it, to live. Any kind of verb with to in front of it is an infinitive, not a preposition. That's not a preposition. All right?
What about the direct object?
There doesn't have to be a direct object in sentences. The only two things that have to be in a sentence are the subject, noun, and the verb. Direct objects don't need to be in sentences. They're commonly in sentences, but they don't have to be in sentences. So look up here. Don't lose me. Don't let the fatigue get you. All right? This is a part of the verb phrase. What's the whole verb phrase?
To live in the field.
Ought not to live. That's the whole verb phrase.
That was the preposition.
No. This is the verb that the subject nouns are doing. This is the way they're doing it. And this fills out the meaning of ought. So all of this is a part of the verb phrase. But there are words to just write them down in their ass. All right, so let me show you what those are. All right? The sons, subject noun. How would that look, subject noun? Nominative plural. Sons, subject noun, nominative, subject noun. And there are multiple of them. So nominative, plural. How should it look in the Latin? Fili. Filii?
Philly, my bad.
Filii. Because sons is masculine, so us-e-o-m-o-e, or misosis. So it's got to have the I with the macron. All right? So sons. Now let's do in the fields, because that's something y'all just did in exercise 3. How would you do in the fields? Calvin. In the fields. Well, let's break it down. What is in? What is it? We haven't labeled it yet. It's a preposition. So what does that make fields? Think about it. I think I scared you. I didn't mean to scare you. I think I put some weird undue pressure on you. I did not mean to do that. In is your preposition, and it's describing the relationship between sons and fields. So sons is already the subject. It's not the object of the preposition. But in the fields is what we call a prepositional phrase. Yeah, that's fine. The noun that's inside of a prepositional phrase, Calvin, is always the object of the preposition. Just like you did for homework last night. You did that well last night. This is just one of those phrases. Just like y'all had. In the stream, with the sons, in the mind, on the roads. Those are all prepositional phrases. All right? So this is just another one of those. And guys, what's nice about prepositional phrases is they don't impact anything else. They're not super involved in the subject, noun, verb, everything else relationship. They can go anywhere else in the sentence. So whenever you find one in English, or even if you find one in Latin, do what I'm doing here, put parentheses around them. It'll help you. Because then you know, what does fields have to be? Case-wise, Callan. Object of the prep. I'm talking how you would parse it out. Yeah, you're good. We haven't done one of those in a bit.
I'm not sure.
So remember, object of the prep. Let's sing our song. Nominative, subject noun, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. So there you go. The chant will help you. Just sing that and you'll know. So you know, if this is OP, ablative. All right? And it's fields. So it's plural. Good. There you go. You got it. So now, what's the word for field? Ager. She just needs to put the ablative plural ending on it. Agrees. You got it. That's it. In agrees. So the sentence would look like this. The sons in agrees not known. And then to live. How do we say to live in Latin? John? Very good. Just the infinitive, like you learned it. The second principal part. The second principal part of any verb translates to verb. All right, so you just remember your principal parts. That's why I make you guys memorize them. And guys, trust me, if you don't review those at night, if you don't go back and review all your vocab, just bing, 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 bing. If you don't do it every night, those principal parts will fade away. All right, you must go through all your vocab every night. And when I say go through, I mean quick. Just get them in your head. It takes like 30 seconds for some students. Some students it might take 3 to 5 minutes, but guys, that's maximum. It does not take a long time to go through your vocab. Just Quizlet tap, Quizlet tap. And if you guys didn't know, I already posted for you guys a combined chapters 1 through 3 thing, so you don't even have to click away to go to the other chapters. You just go through it. They're in alphabetical order, bing, 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 bing. Just get them back in your head. That's all you've got to do. Say them out loud. If you say them out loud, it will go further into your memory. All right? So not, and then just like you said, John, good job, habitara, not to live. The sons in the fields, not to live, ought. What do we do there? This is where you need to parse your verb. You guys remember subject, noun, verb agreement?
They both have to be plural.
Good. If your subject noun is plural, then guess what? Your verb's got to be plural. So what are your verb endings? O-S-T, must, tis, All right, so O means I, S means T means he, she, it. Do we need any of those? No, this is a plural subject noun. We're not going to use any of those endings. Must means we, tis means y'all, nt means they. All right, now this is where I lost a lot of my first period class. Well, I guess it could be we. We's plural. I guess it could be y'all. Y'all's plural. Guys, that's not the perspective we're in. What perspective are we in?
Third person.
We're in the third person perspective. The sons, they. So this is the ending that reflects your subject noun. So the ending here is debent. They ought. The sons ought not. Ought not to live. Whole verb phrase. In the fields. All right.
Quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why does not go in the middle? I know
It can
that-
go anywhere.
I
It can
know
go anywhere in the sentence.
So you could go.
Yep.
So you just chose to put it?
Yep.
Okay.
Adverbs and prepositional phrases can go anywhere in the sentence. It does not matter where they go. Even when you translate it in English, they can go anywhere in the sentence. All right. So here we go. I'm going to give you guys some sentences to go through. I'm referring to the sentences on page 14, exercise 6. We're going to do a fable in Latin before you guys go. We're going to do a story. We're going to translate the whole story in Latin. Okay? So this is what I'm talking about. All right, this is sentence number 1. Turn to page 14. You need to know exactly where I'm at. All right? You guys see the fable on page 14?
Yes.
All right. I feel like you guys are fading away into the night right now. Don't fade away. Don't get drawn into the light, into the night. All right. So here we go. Here is a breakdown of every single sentence in this translation. I'm going to show you exactly how your minds should start to operate here. All right? And I've put very careful detail into this. So follow every detail. I promise you, what I'm giving you right now are the 3 steps to succeed in Latin. The first step, as annoying as it is when you first start, is just knowing and memorizing your endings. Have your endings memorized. You guys need to be able to say like the back of your eyeballs. I, am, I, ar, me, sos, is. Us, o, e, or, me, sos, is. O means I, S means you, T means he, she, it. Must means we, tis means y'all, and N, T means they. Nominative, subject, noun. Genitive, possessive. Dative, indirect object. Accusative, direct object. Ablative, object of the prep. Nominative, the or a, genitive of the, dative, to. Guys, I'm telling you, that's step 1 to Latin. If you have those things memorized, you are done with step 1. As annoying as it is, as weird as it is, that's your first step to success.
Yeah.
Step number 2, what can anybody guess what step number 2 is for learning another language?
Parsing.
No.
Okay.
Vocabulary. Know your vocabulary. All right? Of course, that's a memorization muscle that becomes uncomfortable the more I give it to you. Because guess what happens when you work a muscle out? It gets sore. You don't want to do anything else with it anymore. Trust me, I know that's where y'all are at. I know it. Y'all like these precious little boys and girls. Like, I put a lot on you. I know it. But I promise you, it's only making you stronger if you keep doing it. All right? Because the third step is the one that y'all don't want to do at all. But if you do the first 2, it makes it easier. Step 3 is to know grammar. The American education system has completely failed you in terms of how to love grammar. Y'all are taught in a way that makes you hate it. Y'all were taught it in a way that makes you cannot wait for it to leave your brain. I'm telling you, this class, if you will let me, I will teach you how to love grammar again. If you don't believe me, dude, bet. I will. Because it's delightful. It is delightful. All right, and that's coming from somebody with really bad ADHD. I'm telling you right now, if you follow me through this class, you will learn to love why words look the way they do, why sentences sound the way they do. It's just amazing. So please watch me here. All right, here's the first sentence. All right, a lot of you guys could look at the little. They give you some vocab words down there that you guys have never had before because they're teaching you a fable you've never read before. All right, like Agnes means lamb and stuff like that. A lot of you guys could look at that and probably just go ahead and translate it. That's fantastic. I'm going to show you exactly why it translates exactly what it looks like. Okay? So here's the next little bit I'll give you. All right? So here I've identified endings. That always needs to be the first thing you do whenever you translate. All right? The ending of lupus is us. The ending of Agnes is us. They have the same ending. The ending of rewo is O, and the ending of stant is NT. Is everybody confused as to what's going on there? All right. How does us parse case and number? Nominative singular. Nominative singular. Ablative singular. So guys, remember I have a weird brain. I think in colors. Nominative is blue to me. Ablative is really, really yellow to me, so I highlight things ablative like that. And then verbs in general are just green to me. All right, so that's how I always do it. I do it for all my classes like that. All right? I got to get this closer, don't I? All right, so here we go. Here's the next little bit. I just give you exactly how y'all just parsed it. This is how y'all always need to go into this. Okay? Nominative. 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 Subject noun. That's okay. Nominative, subject noun. This is basically a plus sign. All right? That's basically a plus sign. And wolf and lamb. All right, and they're the subject nouns. So all of a sudden, they were singular. But guess what? Two singulars added together make a plural. So that's why your verb here is plural. Y'all see that? An et is always an and. Always. And it's combining two things. All right? Ablative singular. There you go. Ablative object of the prep. And so in is the what, Kellen? In is the preposition. So if you were to read this sentence through, you could have very quickly gone like that. In rewo. It's the prepositional phrase. All right? So here are those words fully fleshed out with the colors I see them as. And I want you to start to see them the same way. You don't have to. But I'm just showing you how I understand them. All right? Subject noun, prepositional phrase, verb. Now look at that. What did I do there? Yeah, to what? Why?
Because it's the verb.
This is the most significant thing you guys can learn in this chapter. It is, but why is it blue? They.
Because it corresponds with the nominative.
It's telling you who's doing it. It's telling you who's doing it. Subject noun does the verb. These, you told me, are subject noun. So when it says they what? Stomp. When they stand, who's the they they're talking to? The
Sheep and the wolf.
the wolf and the sheep. And where do they stand? Preposition in the river. So there's the translation. The wolf and the lamb stand in the river. All right? That's the translation of this sentence. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I know that a lot of you guys could have just looked at that and sight read that easily. But I'm telling you, no matter what sentence you approach, it could be 3 words or 35 words, you can do exactly what I'm doing to know exactly what every word is in every sentence you ever translate. You can give every single one of them the perfect role to play. And that's where the order of the sentence comes from. All right? Next one. Lupus superior stat and Agnes inferior. All right? The way they want you to translate, because it's talking about river here, the way they want you to translate these adjectives, superior and inferior, is this. Upstream and downstream. All right? But I'm going to do the same thing here for you. I'm going to parse what I can. All right? Identify the endings on what I can. Look, us, T, and us. They've given you superior and inferior, so I'm not trying to walk through those too deeply. But do you guys see what I did here? We've got nominative singular, third person singular, and nominative singular again. All right?
Wait a minute.
Because this is a compound sentence. All right? So here we go. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Subject noun does this verb. And look, we have another subject noun. This is how it translates. The wolf stands upstream, and the lamb stands downstream. It literally sounds like what, though, if you were to read it straight across?
The wolf stands upstream.
The wolf stands upstream, and the
Lamb stands.
lamb downstream. All right, this is called ellipsis, where you don't really have to say a verb over and over again. It just sounds repetitive. But that verb is implied to go with both subject nouns in a compound sentence. So that's what's going on there. Not a big deal. Who cares if you understand what I'm saying? Doesn't matter. As long as you identify the endings, give them the correct role, then you're good to go. Is that being blocked? All right. Next sentence. All right. I want you guys to do this one. Okay? Take about a minute to get through these two little sentences. All right, go for it. All right, I'm going to give you the first hint. Remember, what should you have done first in a Latin sentence? What's the first step to translating correctly? Endings. So if you haven't done that yet, please do. And then I'll put the answers up there. All right, here we go. These are them. I'll make these bigger next time. They're kind of small. All right, here's how they parse. Remember, knowing your endings is the first step. Knowing your vocabulary is the second. Knowing how those endings go with your vocabulary is the second. That's the case number or person and tense. So here are those. Nominative singular, accusative singular, third singular, accusative singular, vocative singular,
How'd you get that?
and second singular.
Because it's just
An E.
oh.
That's what I taught you guys a couple days ago. The vocative. It's when someone's name is being called out. You remember? Do you remember the vocative, Tana? Or were you gone that day? You were gone? The vocative. Did I not record a class for you though?
I don't think so.
Huh. It's just when someone's name is getting called out. So the vocative, you can literally see the first two syllables of vocative in there. Is he calls. And then he's addressing his name. That's what the vocative is. So here's the whole sentence broken apart for vocab and for endings and the roles that they play. All right? Subject, noun, direct object, verb. The verb always reflects the subject noun. All right? Direct object, direct address, verb. Verb always reflects the subject noun. All right? Anybody want to give me their translation? Thomas?
I said, the wolf calls to the lamb, the water lamb is stirred up. It's probably wrong.
You were so close. You said the water is dirty. Look. No, don't be defeated. You're doing great. Look right here. Aquam. Look at the ending and look at the parsing. Accusative. Accusative. Direct object. Direct object receives the verb. You made the accusative do the verb. You see that? That's number 3. That's knowing your grammar. Endings are the first step. Vocabulary and what endings do to those vocab words is the second step. And the third is making sure you know grammar. Know your grammar. All right, so it sounds like this once it's translated. The wolf calls the lamb.
Can you say to the lamb?
Yeah, 100%. The wolf calls the lamb. Lamb! That's what vocative is, Tina. Just somebody being called out. Lamb! Hey, you guys! It's the vocative. Yeah, and this was the only thing that you messed up on, Thomas. Was thinking that since this word comes first in a sentence, like English, you made word order more important than endings. Endings are the most important thing in Latin. And the ending of the verb is S. O means I, S means you. So you are muddying. The whole verb phrase there, you are muddying. You see how the subject noun is always reflected in the verb? Was it physically represented in the rest of the sentence? Was you there in the rest of the sentence? Nope. It doesn't matter because it's always in the verb. You are muddying, direct object, Thomas. The thing receiving the verb. Direct object receives the verb. So you are muddying the water. You see how if you depend on word order, if you think, oh, this is first, this is second, and this is third, then that's the way it needs to, that's not it. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about word order at all, ever. All you've got to do is endings, and then give them their job that way. So guys, I've broken down the rest of these sentences for you on the PowerPoint. Try and finish this on your own before you use the PowerPoint to see how I did it, okay? I'm also going to make a video, like I just told you guys, right now. I'm going to make it right now, and I'm going to make it for every single exercise in Chapter 3, all right? And you guys are free to practice all of those tonight and practice them, not for a long time. I'd say take 30 minutes working on all that, like 30 minutes or so. And then once you're done with 30 minutes, just be like, okay, I'm going to go see how Mr. Yuri did all those. I'm going to follow along. Don't just fill the answers out for the sake of filling them out. I'm not checking them for completion or a grade or anything like that. Follow along to learn it. Try to do it to learn it. All right? The main things, though, guys, do your vocab, practice your endings, all right? And that's why I made that Unit 1. It's called Unit 1, Vocabulary, Declension, and Conjugating. That's what it's called on Canvas. Do it. You can do it twice. Practice your endings. Practice making your macrons on the computer, all that kind of stuff. All right, make sure you do it.